voice here. I don't know why I'm even streaming now. Ugh! Got my pizza rolls. I got my pretty much everything I need. So, my computer runs generally cold, especially on the CPU side, because I have a blower GPU. So right now, I'm literally cooling my pizza rolls by setting them on top of my Corsair 5000B. Let me tell you, genius, absolute genius. At least on my, in my honest opinion. So yeah, just waiting for some people to get in. I'm starting to think I should stream on Twitch, because I feel like Twitch is more centered towards, more towards the streaming, I guess. I mean, it's Twitch, but at the same time, like, I don't really play a lot of games that require Twitch. I'm not sure if I played Fortnite or something. Maybe. But at the same time, no. I don't want to do that. And I thought about doing Rolling Line, because I guess Rolling Line is kind of it's a dead game. I mean, and I can play it in VR if I really wanted to, and really come back to it. But, at the same time, there's not really much appeal of it. Like, you know, the dev that made it is amazing, and I will forever have respect for him. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to play sometimes, because it's just like, it's a sandbox. And sometimes you don't have ideas for a sandbox. You know? It's just a strange thing, I guess. So I don't know what to play. And there's nobody in the chat, so. know if I should just watch YouTube all day, because that's kind of boring. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I want to become a big streamer, but that requires effort. Ooh, I know what we can do. I know exactly what we can do. So, oh, I forgot. Okay, let's put this back into the normal mode. Right now, it's just a giant wall. Okay, here we go. Alright. Let's sort this. Alright, hold on. Alright, so let's... Boom. Alright. What do we think? First of all, I want to put this in full screen mode. It is not in full screen mode, and it definitely feels like full screen. Borderless? Blank spaces. I do not want multi-monitor render. Okay, alright. My controller. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm probably just gonna do this for a little bit because nobody's watching, so I could see the most racist stuff ever too. I could do whatever I wanted. Nobody would ever know. Nobody would ever know. Do you hear me, Batman? Do you hear me? Nobody would know. Nobody know I'm racist. Nobody would know I'm racist. Alrighty, we are in. It's actually working pretty well. I say that and then the game freezes, but... So let's go over to vehicle. Let's get my... Okay, so... I don't know if I've ever showed this on camera, but I have... This is a vanilla car too, but... It is a... The DCT... If you change the engine to be the... I think it's the V8. I'm not sure, let me look. think it's the V8, but yeah, so if you change it to be the V8, it is a beast of a car. Like, when I tell you, like, if you can control it, it's fantastic. And somehow it works better with nitrous, but I don't know how. It makes it a little bit more controllable, almost. Yeah, see? Maybe that's just placebo, and I damaged the oil pan, but, guess I'm about to brick the engine, but we can get by. We can get through here without breaking. Oh shoot. Okay. Yeah, so right now I'm on a PS4 controller, which oh, sorry. Right now I'm on a PS4 controller, which it works great for BeamNG. So here's the thing. Before I got it, it was impossible to play because you always felt like you were like, you know, missing a lot of inputs. And with this controller, I can control the speed and the steering a little bit more easily. And I really like that because, you know, I'm not a console player, I'm a PC player. I'm a PC player like all the way. But at the same time, you know, mouse and keyboard don't work for everything. Like driving, for example, or piloting aircraft, you know? It's just you know, I think for shooter games too, I mean, controllers, especially PS4 controllers, they work really great for doing that kind of stuff because you get a little bit more precise aim, at least for me. At least for me. I don't know. And also the see, I can play like on either keyboard and mouse. Like it does not matter to me, but I know it matters to some other people because it's like I don't know. Like I can play driving games with a keyboard. I can play pretty much anything with a keyboard or a controller if it supports it. But some games it's just not possible. So, you know, and a lot of times with shooter games, I tend to use my keyboard because first-person keyboards just they help a lot. But something like this, I like to do third-person, and thus a controller is a little bit better because I can control my movements more easily. I can, like, okay, another example. American Trucking Simulator, you know? I can get on there, and I can play for however long I want, and I'm not gonna crash that easily as long as I'm not. I guess okay, it really depends because sometimes I get into American Trucking Simulator, and I will just commit the most heinous crimes, like the most heinous crimes you've ever seen. And sometimes I'll get on there and I'll just decide, hey, I think I'm just gonna play the game normally, you know? But yeah, in those instances where I'm trying to actually do, you know, the game, play, you know, just normally without really anything. It really helps to have a controller, simply because, you know, it's just fun. At least to me. I don't know. And I mean, you still need keyboard for American Trucking Simulator, but it has the built-in, you know, like support for PlayStation, because I think it might be on PlayStation. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah. You know, another thing that I've realized is a lot of games don't have native support for PlayStation, which I have two leading theories on why that is. And the first one is PlayStation support for their like Bluetooth controllers on Windows hasn't been around that much because, you know, they just started with PS4, of course. Or Xbox is owned by Microsoft, right? Which means that Windows natively supports Xbox controllers. Now, am I saying that Windows is specifically making it harder to integrate PlayStation controllers into their games? No, I'm not, because that would sound like I'm a conspiracy theorist. But at the same time, you know, it's kind of convincing. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, man. Oh, yeah, but in general though, like, I don't really see. I don't think a lot of games put much thought into it, other than, okay, let's put some controller support, because most people are probably going to be using. Okay, especially games that are included in, for example, what was that one? Oh yeah, Xbox Game Pass, right, for PC. We all know they're not going to have PS4 controller support. And it's not really support, it's more like they just don't add the buttons. Like, you can use any controller with any game. Okay, that's not the problem. The problem is, it takes a while to get used to it in a way that you can look at the screen and automatically know, okay, X is the A button, or square is the B button? No, circle is the B button. Square is the X. Triangle is the Y. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that... Does that sound about right? I think that sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. But, yeah. I think just in... Oh, okay. I think just in general, there's a huge, like, I guess it's stigma behind it. I don't know. I don't understand why people play with Xbox controllers, because it just feels unnatural, you know? Because you have one thumb going up where the D-pad should be, and then you have one thumb down, and it's like, I genuinely don't understand it, because, and some people say it's more comfortable. I don't understand that either, because you're having your thumbs at different positions. you know, your thumb should be in the same position at the same time. That's kind of the point of having two thumbs that are identical. You know? Maybe I'm just rambling here, but like, I don't get Xbox controller design. It just seems so unnatural to me. And yeah, maybe that might just be my PlayStation. Because, okay, I have a PlayStation 3 that has worked since the day we got it, knock on wood. But, you know, it's been fantastic this whole time. I mean, yeah, it overheats a lot because it's an old PlayStation that's like 15 years old by now, I think. When did the PlayStation 3 come out? It was like 2007, right? And this is dating myself because I was born in 2007, but you know, it's a strange world out there, you know. Yeah, it was my sister's originally, and she's like, what, 30 now? Huge age difference, but you know what? That's fine. My sister. But at the same time, you know, it's like I'm sure it was in 2008. Hold on, I can just verify it. I have Google. I don't know why I'm so. When was the what was it called? Yeah, the PS3. I'm starting to think when I had COVID that one time. November 11th, 2006. Holy crap! It's more. It's a full year older than me. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm a 2000s kid. But you know, insane. And it was still supported up for like a couple few years until the PlayStation 4 was announced, which once again, I'm dating myself because you know, PlayStation 4 just came out. PlayStation 5. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. I've been out of school for like 2 months and all of a sudden my brain power just goes numb. Yeah. I'm starting to think I'm a bad driver. Specifically, okay, I'm a bad driver when it comes to video games, I've noticed. Because, well, I mean, you can see here. Like, I can drive I can drive pretty fine until I flip. But this is a BMX. This is basically a you know, a rally track? Is that what this is called? I don't know. But it's a rally track, which means it's gonna be a little bit like, you know, feisty. But at the same time, you know, crap. Right. Yeah, so at the same time, it's kind of a, I don't know. I think sometimes I just start talking and then I don't know what's going on. I get confused. Like Joe Biden, but with even less brain power somehow. gosh. I don't know how to get myself out there. Like, what do I do? What do I do? Oh gosh, oh gosh. Oh man. Yeah, so in real life though, I'm not this bad of a driver because I've got okay. Now I want to reiterate, I love this car. I love this car with all my heart because my mother graciously let me have it to drive for a little while until I can actually get a real car. So I have a 2014 Hyundai Elantra, and that thing, you know, it's great. It's great fuel mileage, but you press on the accelerator, and there's a solid, like maybe 10 seconds before you can actually get up to speed. It's kind of terrifying because when you're trying to get on the highway on a busy day, right? You have people like coming towards you, and you're in this dinky little Korean car that if anybody hits you, you are pretty much dead, unless by some miracle from God Himself comes over and saves you. Like, you're screwed if somebody hits you. So it's like, it's just a it's a battle getting that car. I mean, okay, it's fantastic. It's it's fantastic, right? Don't get me wrong, but same time, got its little quirks. Um, the plastic in the interior, right, is starting to degrade a little bit, which means there's a few issues that have started to come out and show their appearance. Um, my driver's side window, it will go down automatically if you don't stop it, which, if you can't tell, that's kind of an issue. Also, okay, I don't know what it is with this thing, but if if the drive shaft on this thing breaks, it'll just not work. Going 27 miles an hour. Is that some sort of thing with like a differential or what? Like that doesn't make sense, you know. Anyways, yeah, but yeah. So the my driver's side window, the spring that should normally, pull it back up, it's broken. Which means if I bump it ever so slightly, the window will start coming down. And yes, it is an. Oh, it's okay. The funny thing is, it's supposed to be an auto, like one of the things where you just press it once and it automatically goes down. No, I mean it wasn't until now. Uh, so it's just really one of those things where it's like I can live with it, but it's not the best. And also, I broke. Okay, so I was rushing to school one morning, and my neighbor has this like it's a post that. Okay, so he used to rent out a property near me, and it had a post where you could put like a mailbox. The mailbox has since been taken down, but now it's just a giant steel post sticking out of the ground. And I was rushing to get to school one day. My windshield was iced over. Also, never do this. Never do what I'm about to tell you. But I was driving with my windshield fogged over from ice. I couldn't see a thing. I was relying on the exterior to steer, and I swerve over a little bit for some reason, and I knock my entire driver's side mirror off. Completely break it, pretty much. Well, it wasn't completely broken. So, you know, so mirrors are supposed to be where they can, like, you know, bend back, of course. But mine wasn't able to bend back. And so and I hit it at such a velocity that it broke the outer shell and then sent the mirror past my head and into my back seat, and I didn't even notice it. And I was freaking out because I was like trying to call my parents and be like, "Oh my gosh, I just hit it! I just hit, I just hit a mailbox!" And I don't think it's a crime because there was no property destruction to them, but at the same time, I don't think I can be held responsible for it, at least. Or at least held responsible for, like, any sort of, you know, because I didn't break anything. It's a steel, it was a steel pole versus a plastic Elantra mirror, okay? And my mirror's fine now, I fixed it, okay? But, you know, is it illegal? Is it illegal to hit something and even if you don't do damage, like not inform the person? Because once again, it is a steel mailbox that is sticking out of the ground next to a road, by the way. So it's like, you know, even if I did any damage, it's not gonna do much. I'm just glad I didn't hit it like head on. You know. So it's like, but I mean that was a while ago. Like, you know, very much while ago. I've been driving for a while now, so it's like, you know. And I love that Elantra on the highway once you get up to speed, because it's like, okay, now let me tell you, I am not a fast driver. Okay. One time, I was driving to school and I was really tired, and so the highway to my house is like 55 miles an hour top speed. I was going 40, which is 15 under. And I didn't even realize it because I was just so groggy in the morning. I didn't really want to speed up. Because when you get up to speed in an Elantra, you're blazing. You are going really, really fast if you're actually doing like one time I went over 70 to pass somebody. Never again. Never again. Those little compact cars are not designed to go over a certain mile per hour. They're city cars, not highway cars, you know? It's absolutely terrifying. Because you know, contrary to popular belief, I am not a speed demon, okay? I need to get home safely because I've got my computer waiting at home where I can Okay, I realize how bad that sounds, that I'm just concerned about my computer. I mean, like, okay, I have a computer waiting at home where I can do fast stuff. And also, I don't want to get a fucking ticket. I don't want to get a ticket, man. They're expensive. They're very, very expensive. So, it's best if I don't get a ticket. Because my parents will kill me. They won't actually, but like, you know, I don't want to get a ticket. That stuff is, that's bad. That's a bad. That's a bad. Who would want to get a ticket, you know? Tickets are not ideal, you know? Oh, crap. Oh, wow. Yeah. And I have not been pulled over. Because once again, okay, when I get on a highway, I set my cruise control to 65, and I just let it go, you know? Like, I don't like having to manage my speed on a highway. Because, frankly, if I'm not going fast enough for somebody else, they can just pass me. I'm not, like, if somebody's like riding my ass or something, like, you know, in another car, I will not do anything except for, like, gradually, like, I will gradually set my speed lower, actually, until they just decide to pass me. Like, I do not care. You are behind me. You can go around if you want. I'm not going to cooperate. And I don't think you understand that if I hit the brakes right now, I'm getting a new car. So, you know, because they would clearly be in the right, especially if I put on my blinker and I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to turn left." Or, "Hey, I'm going to turn right." You know, they're not going to do anything except for if they hit the brakes, or if they don't hit the brakes. It's not my problem, because they're rear-ending me, and worst case scenario, my insurance goes up a little bit, which, you know, granted, not the best, because I would have to get a job. Yeah, I don't have a job, but, you know, at the same time, you know, if the opportunity presents itself, I'm gonna do it. Like, I don't want to get in a wreck, of course. Like, well, not like a wreck. Well, nobody wants to get in a wreck. But, like, if it's... I think, okay, a great thing that has helped me with driving is that my mother has told me thousands of times, like, hey, I care more about you than the car. And it's really helped me with driving, because a lot of times I would get scared, because I was like, if anything happens, you know, my mom's gonna be like, you know, not happy. But, you know, she just cares if I'm safe. I mean, she cares more about her little boy than anything else that could happen. It's really just relieving for me, because, you know, I really like driving. And I mean, sure, it's kind of taxing sometimes, especially for long routes. Um, another story that I have while driving. So I tend to be I don't tend to be a macho driver. Like if something's going okay, for example, one time me and my friend went to the fair, right? And we were just kind of, you know, it was forecasted to rain that night, okay? And she really wanted to see the Demolition Derby, but the Demolition Derby was so late in the night that it was going to be cut off by the rain. So my dad texts me about halfway through the Derby, and he's like, "Hey, you need to get home now because the rain's about to come." And you know, we did. We were disappointed, of course, but like, you know, we got out reasonably fast too. Okay, in a parking lot, you would be so glad to have an Elantra because those things they can zip through car. They can zip through like any space imaginable. Like you see a car go through a space, you don't have to worry about if your car can go through a space because your car can park in between cars if you really wanted to. But you know, you're also faced with the fact that you are in a little car, a little front wheel drive Korean masterpiece, and you're driving down the road. Okay, envision this. Okay, you are driving down the road. All you can see is other people driving down the same road with their headlights on, straight into your mirrors, which means you cannot see the road ahead of you, cannot see the road behind you, you have no idea where the people are, and you have no idea where you are, actually, just in general, okay? And let me tell you, that is terrifying, okay? Especially with somebody else in the car, that, like, okay, it's different if it's on your own, because I could have totally gotten there on my own. But frankly, I had my best friend in the car, and she was, I mean, okay, she thought we could keep going. But considering I couldn't see the road, I could I couldn't tell where we were going. I couldn't even see the lines in the road. Like it was that bad. It was windy. It was windy rain, which normal rain completely fine. Windy rain I cannot drive in because you get the tiny little car, you get the rain on the road, and you get the wind. The wind is what kills you. Not I mean figuratively. Okay, that wind can, you know, start moving you around, and especially with that rain. Oh my gosh, it's horrible. So so I quickly pulled off, probably damaged the undercarriage of the Elantra because I hit a pothole. This is Missouri after all, you know. So it's like, yeah, we hit a pothole, and then you drove home basically. We drove to my house where my dad took took me and her back to her house. So, and then yeah, because I couldn't make it. I could not make it. I at that point I had only been driving for about 6 months, or not 6 months, not even 6 months, like maybe 5 months, right? And I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. Like I was terrified because I had my best friend in the car. She was egging me to keep doing it, which, okay, she does a lot, and I talked to her about it. I don't think she's gonna do it much anymore. Hopefully, I don't know, but it's the same thing with my mother too, because she gets anxious in the car when I drive for some reason, and I've talked to her. I've been like, hey, makes when you're anxious in the car, it makes me anxious because I feel like I'm not doing stuff right, you know, and I feel like that kind of communication's good between your parents. Because me and my mom, I've always had kind of communication issue, but it's not. It wasn't so much that it was like dangerous, really, or even if it was like you get what I mean. Like it's not. It wasn't like a. It wasn't real necessarily a bad thing. Too. It was just kind of a my driveway alarm just went off. That's kind of nerve wracking. I'm sure it's fine. If my ring doorbell goes off, that's when I have to. Oh, there's motion at my front door. Hold on. I'll be right back. I got a package. It's fine. Okay. So. Okay, so where was I? Something about. Oh, yeah. So, it's a good thing to have communication between your parents because it's like. You can say, like, hey, can you stop doing this or can you stop doing that? And it's nice to. Honestly, I've got pretty good parents. I always thought my parents were kind of cringe, but honestly, they're a lot better than some of the other parents out there. I'm going to be completely honest with you, because I don't know. My parents just do the best that they can to make sure I'm a good kid, and I am. You know. At least I try to be. Yeah, but I've got a bunch of other driving stories, but not really any of them too notable. Yeah. Hmm. Normally this vehicle controls a little better. I'm using a few mods on the BeamNG repository that oh, for example, this one's an electric vehicle. Well, it's okay. So it's a it's basically just an engine mod for the Civetta. I don't know how to pronounce it. Civetta Scintilla, I think. That lets you have. Well, it's like an electric. It's an electric motor system, and it's fantastic because you don't have any of the excessive. I mean, you get a bunch of torque out of this thing, but at the same time, it's impossible to steer if you don't have the proper technique. Because you have to bring it up to speed slowly and sure. You can't just floor it, of course, but to bring it up to speed. It's like a ceramic. Oh. Oh my gosh. I need to have a. Okay. I've thought about getting a Stream Deck for a soundboard. I don't need it, but also it'd be really funny to have the voice. So I have voice mod, right? And I could really easily just set a set a keybind to play Kerosene by somebody. I can't remember who it was that made it, but I just think that would be a really funny keybind. Like, but I don't need it. I don't need it. you know. Oh, oh crap! I don't think that would happen in real life. I'm not sure. Do we get Mythbusters on that? Never mind. Those guys are gone. Mr. Beast. If only. One of these days, I really want to be on Mr. Beast challenge. Not because I want the money. Well, that's part of it, but I think most of it. And this might sound, weird, but I just, I just really want to like be a menace. Like I want to find every possible way to just screw up the challenge. Like I mean, of course, it's not going to be like I'm going to get kicked out. If I find funny enough ways, then maybe that'll be fine. I guess. But yeah, so if I find funny enough ways to cheese the challenge to where I don't have to do as much work. I mean, that's kind of the point of Mr. Beast challenge, isn't it? Like to find the find. I mean, I guess it's more of a what will people do for money type situation. Like I'm telling you right now, if Mr. Beast offers me $100,000, I'm doing anything. Like I would, I would kill a baby squirrel to get $100,000 if it really meant I could have like a 3080 and a 3080 and a Ryzen 90 Ryzen Ryzen 7000 CPU. Like hold on, be right back. There you go. maybe that's a dark thing to say, right? Like, I'd do anything for $100,000, and it's not like a, but I feel like $100,000. That's a decent amount of money, right? Like after tax, I don't know if Mr. Beast does tax, but after tax, you're walking away with maybe like $70,000 combined with like any multitude of fees or whatever. That's a pretty decent amount. Like you put that in a you put that in a savings account, you can live off the interest probably. I mean, not really that well, but every month that's generating about like $100. Like that's a Steam game every week at that point. Like imagine like you know having having a fund. Okay, it's my belief. You have a fund that's like okay, here's $100 every month. Go have fun with it. I mean that's fantastic. I mean, and then you can use your paycheck to do really whatever you want, and then you don't have to deal with, you know, you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck, you know? And that's why I believe Mr. Beast should set up a lottery system. You buy a $10 ticket, and the prize is that you get to take off work for a week and go play a challenge. And then, if you're lucky and you complete the challenge, you get $100,000. I mean, doesn't that sound, you know, doesn't that sound right? I just thought I just killed a fly. Like there was a fly that just landed on my leg. I slapped him, and then he just disappeared. I sent him to. Oh no, there he is. I was about to say I sent him to the ether realm or whatever. I don't know, realm. You can tell I'm from the Midwest because I don't know how to speak. My grandpappy said he'll let me light the campfire with his cigar. If I don't know. Yeah. So it's an interesting. You know, everybody talks about like, oh, you need to get a 4K monitor. Oh, you need to get like 4K gaming is so fantastic. I don't really see it because up close, you have about as much visual fidelity as you need, like right there, for example. Sorry, hold on. Okay, so right here, for example, like you can see the carbon fiber stripes just fine. So what if they have a few pixels? Okay, a few pixels here and there, or you know, like okay, from the back here, do you see any jagged lines that aren't designed to be there? Of course, like do you see anything? Do you see anything out of the ordinary? I don't think so. Okay, that's why I think it's stupid to have that kind of capabilities. You don't need you don't need 4K for most games, okay? Most games don't even support 4K. So it makes it kind of stupid if you buy a 4K monitor, okay? Like, the most you need is maybe 2.7K. Unless, 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 of course, you're doing something with actual, like, workstation stuff, like, for, like, okay, say you're an animator, okay? And you want to really see, you know, the visual fidelity. Or if you want to see, if you're like, if you're a photo or video editor, you know, like you want to see each 4K pixel. Other than that, you don't need a 4K monitor, especially for gaming. I mean, of course, it might be biased because I've been gaming on an HP monitor from like a couple 10 years ago. Has it really been? I can't remember. Okay, so I think it's been about 7 years I've had this monitor, and it is the only thing remaining from my original setup. I think. Like, yeah, it's the only thing remaining, because I had an Okay, I thought the best thing for gaming back then was an HP Slimline desktop computer. Okay, with a hard drive. And granted, I was young and I had no idea what computers were. Really, like I thought that was the biggest computer that you could get. Okay, and then I got my Corsair 5000D. Let me tell you, uh, that I could fit I could fit my old computer in this computer right now. Like, and it's downstairs. It's not like I got rid of it. I still use it for like. Well, actually haven't used it in a while because, well, I don't really need to, to be completely honest. Yeah. Okay. I got from my school, right, a HP ProLiant ML350p. Now, if that makes no sense to you, I get it because it didn't make any sense to me until I got this thing. Okay? The ML350p is a dual CPU workstation from 2012. And let me tell you, it works fantastic. However, upon initial startup, okay, now listen to me. It's a fantastic machine, right? Like I haven't fully utilized it. I'm probably gonna use it for the future. Uh, well, I want to start a Minecraft server with like a bunch of other people, and how do I do that? Well, I start streaming, and I get people to watch the streams first of all, and then, I take that server, hook it up to my internet, which I got better internet recently, and it has been fantastic. Okay, and I thought streaming was just completely out of the option. I like literally during the first few minutes of the stream, I was literally just watching YouTube, and there was no noticeable difference because guess what? I'm getting 80 megabits per second. 80. 80. 80. And that is fantastic for any sort of like workload that you're doing, cuz I don't need more than maybe like 10 megabits going to my computer, which means I'm using we have 600 gigs of it, okay? Which means I'm using, unless I'm downloading something or playing like multiple, like if I'm streaming or if I'm doing like Discord, I'm only using like a couple megabytes per second. like I'm on an average day, I'm only using like maybe one megabit, 1 megabit of internet. So it's like that's like I want to say a third of a megabit per second, which I don't understand. The what's the difference between a megabit and a megabyte? And why do we need to have the difference? Because why not just oh, okay, listen. Okay, I don't know if anybody's going to watch this afterwards, but if anybody is a YouTube aficionado, do you know how to do stuff like that? Like, okay, why is there? Oh, not a YouTube aficionado. What am I talking about? An internet specialist, right? Why does there need to be a megabit and a megabyte? So the megabits for Wi-Fi, they're not even equal. They're not even equal, man. Like, so why have the distinction? Why have the distinction of like, oh, this is a megabit for every 8 megabits, you're downloading 1 megabyte per second. That was really clean. I don't know how, but well, okay. So for every megabit per second, there's 1 megabyte per. No. So eight megabits goes into 1 megabyte. So why call it a megabit if it's just going to be it's just going to be an eighth of a megabyte? You know, why have why have bits instead of bytes? Is it? I just don't understand because for my entire life I was under the impression that 1 megabit equals 1 megabyte, but it's not. So you know why 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 yeah, nobody's gonna nobody's gonna watch this. Why am I even doing this? I think it's just the the hope that one of these days my streams are just gonna pop off. Pew. Like, I know this is boring. I'm very well aware, but at the same time, like, come on, come on, watch it. Watch my streams. Watch my stream. I don't understand how to get YouTube to like, put it out more too. Hold on. Oh man. Okay, so my front half shaft's broke. But because this is an electric car, right? Hold on, let me get out the node grabber. Where's my mouse? Okay, there it is. Okay, because this is an electric car. if I was to completely rip off the rear half of this thing. So, hold on. Or if we just completely go in here, rear subframe, I think, and just delete it. Because the motor is technically in the front, we just get this thing. Which also implies that you can have a front wheel drive Centilla. And I never really thought about that. Maybe, hold on. Maybe we do that. Maybe we should do that. Just see how well it performs. So where's the normal electrics? Right up here. EV650. I think this might be a hybrid. I'm not really sure. Because it has the rear engine, but at the same time, I don't think the rear engine's working at all. Like, this is technically a front wheel drive. Well, yeah, it says engine disabled. So if I just delete the engine, where is the engine? Rear subframe. Empty. So theoretically, this is technically just a front wheel drive car now. And honestly, I would drive this. I think I would drive this. Like, I'm not really a big fan of, I'm not really a big fan of electric cars, right? But at the same time, if it's cool like this, and it's got a lot of acceleration, maybe. I think electric convertibles would be a great idea. Or actually just, like, any sort of convertibles that are, I don't know. So I'm kind of a big advocate for, like, hydrogen and, you know, really anything of that sort. Like methane, hydrogen. Oh, hold on, the fly's back. Fly's back. Never mind. Hold on. It's gonna land on me. It's gonna land on me. Never mind. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I would really like to see a hydrogen car come out. Because I think it's really easy to do. All you do is take an electric car, you put a hydrogen fuel cell in the front, put an exhaust, put a hydrogen container somewhere in there, and then boom, you have a hydrogen fuel cell vehicle. Okay? And frankly, surprisingly, they're a lot less volatile than, who guessed it, lithium vehicles. And plus, everybody's like, you need the infrastructure to transport hydrogen, or you need the infrastructure to do all this. You don't need any sort of infrastructure that isn't just, okay. Listen, everybody's like, you need to transport hydrogen. You need to transport hydrogen. You don't need to transport anything. You know what hydrogen needs to be created? Water and electricity. You know what the most common utilities in the United States are? Actually, hold on a moment. Before I say that. Common utilities include Electric and water. Electric and water. So, realistically, if you had a giant tank, well, okay, if you, sorry, hold on. Let me start here. Let me start here. If you had a, if you had a 20, like a 20, 40-foot container where you have a big water reservoir, a DC, did that just, okay. You have a water reservoir, a DC converter, and a hydrolysis chamber, like a big hydrolysis chamber, and then you just pump electricity through it from an overhead line. That's AC. I mean, really, whatever, how many volts you want. But then you have water plumbed to it, and then voila, hydrogen for a car that you can just pump straight in. And then you have oxygen for really whatever you want to do. You just pump it into the air. We need more oxygen, right? We need more oxygen in our lives. I think oxygen is just pump more of that into the atmosphere. I think our lives would be better, because and then eventually when the hydrogen is turned back into water, I mean that just goes into the ground, and the oxygen gets recirculated. So what you're doing is basically creating just an artificial tree, almost, except without the carbon. But you're creating that hydrogen, which is able to fuel a car. And I guess the efficiency wouldn't be the best, but if you have enough like backstocked on it, and if you have multiple of them, like depending on the rate of hydrogen that you're selling, you know, I think it would be viable. You know what? Maybe if we get to 1 million subscribers, we'll start a hydrogen fuel cell business. But I don't know. I'm just saying. I think the concept of electric cars, they're great, but they're not developed enough to be a viable source of, you know, really anything. Like, we're all making electric cars nowadays, but what? But that requires infrastructure to charge it, infrastructure to make them, and infrastructure to change the batteries when they eventually die at like 50,000 miles. I nearly got the dang fly. Okay, but yeah, it's just it turns into a thing. It's just I don't get it. I don't get it. And nobody will make a hybrid. If Elon Musk made a like a hybrid Tesla, I would love that. I would totally I would totally invest in the company, you know. And it's like, I mean, even though I'm broke, but that's besides the point. But seriously, you're you're making electric cars and you're not even considering the possibility of a hybrid, which will be okay. So, sorry, I live out in the Midwest, okay, and I live in a rural community where if you don't have a gas car and you live anywhere out in the countryside, it's not viable. It is not viable at all. Like, sure, big cities, I get it. Go in, charge, like, you go home, charge your car, drive to work, bada bing, bada boom. You have you have a hybrid. or sorry, hold on. So you drive to work, you drive home, you charge it, cycle repeats. But out here, you're I mean, even if you like if you wanted to go to like Springfield, for example, which is a couple hours away from me, you couldn't make it. You couldn't make it in an electric car. Because unless you charge it and then drive for however long you want, you're not making it to Springfield within a reasonable time frame. And so, you know, it's a slippery slope that we're going down right now. I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah. And even methane. Methane's a really good option for alternative sources of fuel. Because methane's renewable, technically. I mean, it's produced by cows, so it's a renewable gas. it's a, it is quite. I mean, natural gas even like that's technically renewable. I'm pretty sure. And if you burn methane, it becomes less dangerous. So it's like, you know, yeah. All right. Well, I'm just gonna end the stream here because nobody's watching. All right. Well, to anybody who watches the VOD in the future, hope you have a good day. Peace.